Hi, everybody, and welcome to another Mid-Shelf Gaming Sit-Down. It's not a podcast, it's a sit-down. And I'm sitting down here with Edwin and Will. And today we're going to be talking about 2019 in gaming. So basically, we've all come up with a list of our top 5 games of 2019.
Can't believe there's that many.
Yeah. Well, I actually thought 2019 was a really good year. And just to go over real quick, we didn't necessarily pick games that came out this year. I mean, I personally did because I thought I played enough games that came out in 2019 that were all like really good, so I wanted to give them, their time to shine. But I'm pretty sure you guys didn't do that.
I did not do that.
Yeah.
It's like a mix.
Yeah. But either way, it's just stuff that we played for the first time this year, sort of. And we're going to talk about those games, what we liked about them. We're not going to talk about anything we didn't like because, who likes to talk about that? And we're going to give some predictions for the rest of the year and what we're looking forward to in 2020 and the new decade. So, yeah, the 2010s are finally over, and that's kind of crazy to me because there was a lot of progress in the gaming community this year. Or not this year, this decade. VR became a huge thing. I can't even remember, how many consoles we've gone through since 2010. I think 2010, we still had the PS3 as, the main...
I think 2010 was the year I bought my PS3.
Yeah.
And we're already approaching PS5.
PS5. Xbox Series X was announced at the tail end of 2019.
Nintendo's gone through
3 systems. End of the Wii, beginning and end of the Wii U, and the beginning of the Switch.
Gone from not forgotten.
Gone and pretty much
that's
forgotten.
That's why I said 2 extra consoles, because the Wii was already
I know what you meant.
And not only that, we also saw Nintendo consolidate its handheld console department into one with the Nintendo Switch.
Which I'm still not entirely sure how I feel about, because I really do still like my 3DS, and I've been playing it a lot lately, actually, but I also love the Switch. The Switch is still incredible. But yeah. I do think there's a certain magic about dual screen games that's going to be lost if they entirely abandon that.
Yeah, and I'm also a fan of dedicated handhelds and consoles, so I do see the appeal of Nintendo Switch, but that's for another day.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I never play my Switch docked.
It depends on the game. I feel like I do half and half depending on what game I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
Luigi's Mansion, I've been playing in docked mode, but then something and now I'm blanking on just any Switch game. Link's Awakening, I played in handheld mode primarily.
Well, I mean, that game was a
true,
handheld game to start
depending
with.
On the genre, I have a different preference, and I think is the big draw.
I just prefer to play with the Pro Controller just because of how uncomfortable the Joy-Cons are.
That's
and
true.
How Nintendo Switch itself isn't designed to be played in long spurts for handheld mode anyways. So.
Yeah, that's true. That is a downside. But also, I disagree. I actually love the Joy-Cons, but I'm actually currently facing the problem that all 4 of my Joy-Cons are off for repairs because they've all become subject to drift.
The drift.
So I have to play my Switch docked right now. And I do love the Pro Controller. The Pro Controller is amazing, but I do miss being able to play it in handheld mode. But with that, it has been a great decade, but we're only going to focus on 2019 for right now. So I'll start us off with my number 5. My number 5 was Untitled Goose Game by House, which, amazing developer name, by the way.
Honk.
Yeah. This game just struck a chord with me because I'm a fairly memey person. I tend to not take life seriously. So when a game that didn't take itself seriously came out, I was just this is amazing, and this game was made for me. And I just, didn't even realize that I had an internal goose in me that would love to go around and terrorize this small British town. And it's just I'm sure you guys have all seen, the memes of it have just taken the internet by storm, of the goose just appearing in everything.
I mean, they even did it for the Game Awards.
Oh my god, I lost my mind. I lost my mind.
I want that Beaker game.
Yeah, Untitled Beaker game. I want that to be a thing.
Where's Untitled Beaker game?
I thought they were legitimately teasing a Muppet VR game, and then when they weren't, I was like, you do realize you have to make one now.
There's a demand.
Mm-hmm.
They gotta make it.
Goose Game was definitely a really solid pick. I think I really liked its cute and minimalistic design. It's a really simple game, and even with no dialogue, you can follow the emotion and what's going on with the characters in that game. It's just a really fun, cute experience. I liked it a lot too.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was really short, but just you could replay it, and cause chaos in so many ways you didn't know how. It's a very experimental game and just...
It's a one of a kind. There's no other games that...
Yeah, no, it's easily... I was so annoyed when it didn't win Indie Game of the Year because I was like, come on, it literally is the first of its kind. There's never been a game like it before.
Right.
But yeah, I definitely, if you haven't picked it up, it is a little pricey. Like, I got it on sale when it was first launched. I think I got paid like $15, but it's like $20 now.
And it goes on sale quite enough.
It goes on sale a lot, so pick it up on sale. It is a little pricey if you pay full price, but it is so much fun, and you can join in on the meme fest if you haven't already.
All right, speaking about price, my number 5 is actually the low price of free, as long as you have a Nintendo Online account. And that is Tetris 99.
Oh god, I really wanted to put that on my list.
I'm a big fan of Tetris, so the fact that they had a battle royale in the year of battle royales like Fortnite and Apex, so having something different and not having it a shooter is definitely a breath of fresh air for me. And I've definitely put in my fair share into Tetris 99, just battling against other people and trying to get that coveted number 1 spot.
What's the highest you've gotten?
Like 4.
I've gotten to 2.
I think mine's like 7, and I think that's when Ryan was playing on my Switch.
It might have been. God, I'll never forget the direct for that game. Like, when I saw 99 players, I was like, ugh, why are they having another Battle Royale? And I heard the Tetris theme, and I was like, no.
That's such a great spin on, like, an already... like, of course, classic game. Like, I know they always try to make things to make Tetris fresh, but, like, I think this is a really great game to really... Because, like, I'm not even a huge puzzle game person, and, like, I love Tetris 99. It's just so addictive.
I actually went out of my way and pre-ordered the physical edition.
Yeah.
So for basically $10, because it's $30, but you get a year's worth of Nintendo Online.
Oh.
I thought it was only 3 months.
You get a year.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's really wild.
So you get to do... 2 players with another person, and I think it's worth it just for that.
The physical edition bundles all the DLC, right?
Not that I recall.
Okay.
I think it's just the base game, but you get you to do the multiplayer with other people.
Okay, well that's good. The one thing that is kind of cool about it also is it's become like the Tetris for Nintendo Switch with the DLC because it added marathon mode and like a couple other modes. Like you can have offline versus AI mode and a bunch of other modes that made it true...
that's all on the physical one.
It is, okay. Yeah. It made it like a true Tetris game, not just the Battle Royale.
And lastly, the only other thing I want to bring up with Tetris 99 is that I'm a big fan of all the themes they tend to do with it. So I believe for the Game Boy's 30th anniversary, if I recall correctly, they did a Game Boy theme, and then when Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, they did a Pokemon theme to it.
They had a Splatoon theme for, like, the last Splatfest,
That's right, yeah.
They had a Kirby one and a Three Houses one as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something that's great, too, because it gives you more incentive to, like, play for a little bit, put it down. Oh, an event comes up, I gotta play to get the theme. So it's, like, adds that longevity to it as well.
The thing that's nice also is they're not hard to get. Like...
Oh, no, not at all.
You have to get, like, 100 points, and I think if you get past, like, the top 50, you get 5. So it's like, at most, you'll be playing 20 games, but if you're actually good at it, you'll get it like a lot quicker than that. And then, if you actually want to keep playing, you can rank in it, and I think you get, like, Nintendo coins for it, maybe?
I don't know.
Yeah,
But we're gonna go with my number 5 pick, which is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So, of course, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Nobody doesn't know that. I was really looking forward to this game because we've all been waiting for the next great single-player Star Wars experience. Of course, Lucasfilm games and all that, LucasArts, rest in peace, made all these great games like during our childhoods, like especially in like the early 2000s, but like finally getting, not including Battlefront because that's like whatever, but including Jedi Fallen Order and actually getting like another story. I really enjoyed it. I feel like the game definitely has a lot of faults in it. And I think it's something... This is a DICE game, right? It's like EA and DICE.
Yeah, it was DICE.
DICE made it?
No, it's not.
Or it's not DICE? Well, no, hold on.
Actually,
Respawn.
Respawn, yeah,
Respawn.
no, sorry. DICE does Battlefront.
Might be. But it's,
Put some respect on their name.
I don't play Respawn games, sorry. But anyway, I feel like it was a really great game in terms of gameplay, because, like, I don't like the quote-unquote Soulsborne type games at all.
Yeah.
But, like, I really like this, and part of me feels like it may have just been because it's Star Wars, but visually it was great. The characters were kind of okay, but like I think the setting was good. It added something new for Star Wars, and I feel like I could see myself replaying it
Maybe at some point.
Maybe not right away, but it definitely was like a game where like the difficulty curve was like just right, in my opinion. That like every time you got to a little hard part, it get a little bit tougher, and it was like really fun. Force powers felt great. Exploring was a lot of fun. I think I spent more time just exploring than actually doing like the plot in that game. But I am definitely looking forward to if they follow up with a sequel or just any more Star Wars single player games. I think there's a good market there that's just waiting to be taken. So,
without going into spoilers, though, they definitely did set up for a sequel. Like, they introduced a new character, like, right at the end, so I was like, I mean...
Yeah, that was, like, one of my big pet peeves, is, like, they did that part so late.
I was like, I did like her, but I was like, it's kind of odd to introduce a character so late unless you're intending to go forward with it somehow.
Yeah.
Because, like, they might not be continuing the plot explicitly, but they might be going somewhere with it.
It is EA, so maybe we'll get, like, a DLC thing for it, maybe? I know, obviously, we'd probably get another game depending on how it sold, which I'm guessing it was successful.
I heard it sold really well.
It sold really well, but, like, a lot of people are saying that it's, like, buggy, but they've been bug fixing it.
Yeah.
It was buggy, but not to the point where I couldn't play it.
I mean, my game crashed at least twice during my playthrough, so...
Well, it wasn't that bad, and if anything, it was a stepping stone, so the next one will be, like, really
for
good.
sure. I think that's going to be a real testament if they do make the sequel. Like, the sequel will be one of those games that just improves on everything, because there's a lot of, like, little nitpicky things that I have with the game that I think going forward would be a lot better.
The one thing I'm curious about also is, if you know past Star Wars games, the naming conventions have always been a little odd. Like, series have been wrapped in, like, one bundle but haven't necessarily followed the same plot. Like the Jedi Knight series mostly followed Kyle Katarn, but then there was also Jedi Academy, which fell in that. So, like, if they decide to go that way, Jedi could just be, like, a broad thing to encapsulate, like, a number of different characters, not necessarily continuing to follow Cal or even, like, the Fallen Order crew. It could be anything, really.
I want Babu Frick in my next game.
But moving on to my number 4, I picked Link's Awakening for the Switch. Now, I normally don't like to pick remakes, but Link's Awakening was the very first game I ever picked off of a shelf when I was 5 years old. 5 or 6, I don't really remember entirely. But that game has a really special place for me. I've played it to death. So when I found out it was getting remade, I was really excited. And I thought the remake was really well done. I enjoyed everything. It was significantly easier, but I'm not entirely sure if that's just because I know the game backwards and forwards, or if they did dumb it down a little bit. But
Nintendo has been known to do that with some of the more recent games.
Yeah.
You guys played it too, right?
Yeah, I got it at launch because I had never actually played the original for it.
Did you think it was easy?
Yes.
Okay.
And but not like Link Between Worlds easy. I actually died a couple times playing this game.
Okay.
But I enjoyed it. I think the big standout part of it that I saw a lot of buzz was the people on the art style. I personally really enjoyed the art style. It was different and new, and I think the pastel-y looks were very nice.
It's like a claymation style.
Yeah. And that game's all dreamy anyway, hint hint. So like
I was skeptical about it at first, and then I like really grew to love it. But the biggest thing for me was the Zelda Maker aspect of it. Now, it was extremely bare bones, and I could talk for about 20 minutes about how to improve that alone. But the fact that they did it at all really says that they actually have heard us with, like, the whole Mario Maker thing. That, like, we really like that. We'd like to see another genre of that. Like, they definitely had a good base here, but it was far from perfect. But I really want them to try again, because I really did enjoy it.
Alright, so going on with my number 4, it was one of the ones that blew me out of, like, I was not expecting much out of, and that was Deadly Premonition.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so, I knew that it was a cult, the game itself had a cult following, so I decided to pick it up because I tend to notice that a lot of those kind of games are games that I end up enjoying. But this game was a lot better than I thought it was. So, I noticed that a lot of people had complained about the graphics and the gameplay, and I'll have to agree with those people where it is a little dated, considering I had started playing it on the PS3 and then continued playing it on the Switch when it came out earlier this year. But the story was definitely what kept me hooked in.
So, give a brief overview. Like, what was it about?
Basically, there's like this murder case. Like, there's a lot of these murders going across countries, and then your character, he's continuing his investigation in this small town. The game itself has been compared with Twin Peaks, if you ever watched the TV show, or if you know.
I'm familiar with it.
Yeah. So,
it's like
the best,
same aesthetics,
yes,
I guess you could say.
I would definitely compare it to Twin Peaks. Like, if Twin Peaks had a video game form.
With the weirdness and everything?
Yes, definitely.
Because that's how it's Twin Peaks, is because Twin Peaks is weird.
And that's how I'd also describe Deadly Premonition. It's definitely weird, but as a survival horror game, it does have some of the scarier moments later in the game.
Yeah, with the name Deadly Premonition, it definitely sounds like horror.
Definitely. But the characters themselves, that's what I love more than anything about the game, is they have this personality where you just keep on playing, you want to know more about them.
Mm-hmm. Like they feel real.
Yeah.
That's how you make a good narrative, is you actually make people care about, like, everything.
Yeah. And when did this game come out?
It originally came out on the 360. I started playing the Director's Cut on the PS3. And then there was a port that was announced at an early Direct in 2019.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I eventually just continue and replay the part that I stopped on the PS3 and then continue on the Switch. Unfortunately, I don't know if it's the Director's Cut that they ported or the regular edition.
Probably the Director's Cut.
I would hope.
I would hope so, but I won't know because from what I've read, all I know, as long as I'm trying to keep it spoiler-free, is that there's an additional content post-game, and I won't know if it's...
You gotta beat the game to find out.
Exactly.
They ported it because there's a sequel coming, right?
Yes, there's a sequel coming out in 2020. That's at the very least a tentative date that they've given us, but given how games are nowadays, it could get delayed for another 6 months or a year or so.
Yeah. I mean, on that note, I'm going to just briefly touch on this. Like, there's a lot that's coming out first half of, like, 2020, so anything that gets delayed, unless I'm, like, really looking forward to it, like, if they delay Animal Crossing again, I'm going to be mad.
Please.
But, like, I really don't care if they delay things, because it makes it less stressful for me, and I can actually put, like, more time into the games that I really want to play, and not just move on from Animal Crossing to Final Fantasy to Avengers. Like, I'm glad that some of them are actually getting delayed and spaced out.
I mean, look at it this way. Animal Crossing and Doom were already delayed in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah. But, yeah, I would definitely, if you're even remotely interested in those kind of games, I would definitely take a look at the Switch version if you just want version to play on the go. And then, like I said, I'm also looking forward to the sequel.
Yeah. So my number 4 is probably the oldest game on my list, because of course it's gaming experiences for us in 2019, and this is actually a game that we covered in our Ninja Games episode, so feel free to check that out for my full, more structured review. But it was Shinobi...
Totally not plugging.
It was Shinobi 3 for the Sega Genesis. So, of course, I'm more of a Super Nintendo kind of guy. I didn't grow up with a Genesis, really. Didn't really play a lot of those games. But for Ninja Games, I was like, I've had this game forever. It was like one of my first Genesis games I had, and I'd never played it before. So I finally got to play it, and it honestly blew me away just for what this game is capable of. Like, it looks gorgeous. It has some of the best, like, sprite work and graphics for, like, a 16-bit game I've seen in a while. The music is great. The gameplay feels really nice. And it's, of course, a side-scroller, so it's pretty straightforward, but it does have a lot of complexity in its level design. It's more freeform. It's not just moving right. You can move up and down and moving back to the left if you need to. There's a lot of secrets, a lot of the different weapons that you can get and items and, like, special abilities, so it leads itself to more playthroughs as well.
I think the game itself is really gorgeous. I don't know, as you play it, you notice the multiple layers of parallax scrolling.
Yes, that's gorgeous.
Yes.
Which at the time was, like, extremely advanced.
Yeah, even now, that amazes me. That was like the first thing I noticed.
And then the music itself, I believe it's written by Yuzo Koshiro, who's also known for the Streets of Rage music.
Right.
And he just does excellent work with this Shinobi 3.
Yeah, it's great, and it's relatively affordable, if I remember correctly, if you want like a cart only, but it's on any like Sega Genesis collection you can
Is it
find.
on the Classic?
I'm sure it is.
It's on the Mini.
It's on
the Mini, yeah. It's
like... Is it Revenge of Shinobi or Shinobi 3?
Shinobi 3.
It is?
Okay. I've yet to play Revenge of Shinobi. Now I really want to, because I liked 3 so much.
Yeah, actually, when I was watching you play it for Midshelf, like, I was like, this actually looks like really good. And then, like, I went back to get a little bit of additional footage, and I was like, okay, I actually gotta get this game now. So I picked up both that and Revenge of Shinobi, and they're both, like, really good.
They're so fun. I'm a huge fan. I want to get all of them now.
Yeah. The other thing that was really cool about Shinobi 3 was, like, yes, you had the side-scrolling, like, beat-em-up sections, but then you also had, like, the jet ski section.
Yeah, and the horseback section.
Yeah, it mixes it up. Like, it's a lot of fun.
And even, like, the design of, like, the bosses and creatures going forward, it's like, oh, first you start off fighting, like, you know, ninjas, and then, like, oh, whoops, now you're fighting robots and aliens. So I'm like, what the heck is going on in here?
It's also, like, it's old school difficult. Like, the bosses were really hard.
It's all about that pattern memorization.
Yeah.
But without going too much, like, at a tangent, I did want to briefly mention the 3DS version of Shinobi. If you did like those 2D Shinobi games, that one is also a 2D game, you know, but with the character set itself being a 3D polygon. But that game is really fun, and it is also, like, the old school difficult.
Right.
I would definitely give people... I would definitely take a look at that if you really liked Shinobi 3.
Is Shinobi on DS, like, a collection? 3DS. Is it a collection?
No, it's a new standalone game.
Oh, okay, cool.
In the series, though, it's just called Shinobi.
It's just called Shinobi.
So it's like a reboot.
Yes, so it's the third game just called Shinobi because there was a game on the PS2 also just titled Shinobi.
There are a lot of games called Shinobi or Ninja or some variant of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't we like think about playing the PS2 Shinobi actually?
I was.
Yeah.
Maybe later.
Yeah, maybe later. But anyways, moving on. My number 3 was Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. So I don't know if it was made clear in the Metroidvania episode, but I love Castlevania games, like, a lot. And when this game was announced, I got so excited because it's made by one of the directors of Symphony of the Night. And it just blew my mind that, like, that type of game could be coming back, given that we've been in a drought of, like, a true Castlevania game for, like, a really long time now. And last year I played the prequel. I think it was supposed to be a prequel at first, but now he's saying it's more of just an AU, Curse of the Moon. And I loved that. That was,
game
like,
was excellent.
That was excellent. It was, like, old school Castlevania, and this one is Metroidvania. But I played both of them this year again I played Curse of the Moon again before Ritual of the Night, and then played Ritual of the Night, and I was like, this is incredible. Like, you could definitely see that this was the guy who made Symphony of the Night, and I loved every second of it. And I did play the Switch version, which I have to mention was very buggy at launch, but not unplayably buggy.
However, they have just fixed that.
Yes, and I'm actually going to replay it because I think Zangetsu is now playable as well. So I want to do a playthrough as him.
I recall when the game was first announced, I believe it was a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
There was a huge buzz behind it because it was Igarashi behind it.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was I had to be a little bit wary because we had Mighty Number 9 with Inafune behind it, so just because you have a big famous developer behind it doesn't mean the game itself is going to be really good. But I'm glad to hear that Bloodstained was the opposite of Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, it was one of those examples of, like, when that was announced, I was still in college, so I had no money, so I didn't kickstart it because I couldn't afford to pay $60 for something I'd be waiting, like, years to see. But then I played Curse of the Moon last year, and when it literally was like Castlevania. Classic Castlevania. Castlevania. New term, Castlevania for classic Castlevanias. When it was that, though, I was like, okay, Bloodstained is gonna be good. Like, I have no problem supporting this now. And I did, and it was incredible. Glitches and all, like, it wasn't that bad. Like, people were complaining, but people love to complain.
I think the main glitch was, like, about your save where you could have your progress deleted.
I did hear about that, but they patched that really quickly, so I didn't have that problem. There were some performance glitches, like, there was occasionally, I don't remember what triggered it, but I would, like, kill an enemy, and it was if it was stuck in the wall. Like, you know Castlevania, how, like, Medusa heads will, like, come through the walls?
Yeah.
If you kill it while it's in the wall, it'll die, but it won't actually count as being killed for, like, a few seconds. So sometimes it'll drop an item in the wall that you can't get.
So frustrating.
Boy.
So but they did have a workaround for it. It would automatically refresh after, like, 10 seconds and just automatically go into your inventory, but it was just like, I want to move on to the other screen. I don't want to have to wait for this, but That was like the only one that actually like bothered me. But graphically, it looked amazing. It was so much fun, and please continue this series. Keep them coming. I will continue to buy them.
All right, my number 3 is going to be Yoku's Island Express.
Yeah, tell me about that.
I'm not a big Metroidvania fan, but when I found out that they made a Metroidvania with pinball elements, which is one of my favorite game genres, I knew I had to definitely, at the very least, take a look into this game. And my god, I was sucked in from the moment that I started playing it. So you play as this little beetle who rolls around this little ball. You're a postmaster and whatnot.
Sure.
The story side really doesn't matter. But the main way you go from screen to screen is through pinball paddles and whatnot. So your triggers, your left and right triggers, control them respectively, the paddles. And you basically just explore using pinball mechanics. So it's everything you have, like the backtracking. You have to gain abilities and whatnot. So you like swimming and whatnot.
What are some of the abilities like for a pinball Metroidvania?
What was that?
Like a pinball Metroidvania? Like, what are some of the abilities like in that, for backtracking purposes? Like, oh, I can't do this until I get this ability.
Like making your ball heavier so you can like dive underneath and go to certain areas and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you a ball the entire time?
No, you're a beetle. You have a beetle and he's pushing the ball left and right, so you can't jump. However, there's these paddles that'll elevate you to higher screens.
Like spring you into the air or something.
But however, you do have to collect a certain amount of fruit, and then to collect a certain amount of fruits, you might have to play on this board, and there's like certain paths where it'll eventually give you fruits and whatnot.
Definitely doesn't sound like a traditional Metroidvania, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But it was definitely one of the best games I've ever played, like especially in terms of 2019. And before I knew it, I had 10 hours in within a week. I'm like, I usually don't do this. I tend to play a game and then I'll stop playing it by the end of the week because I'm already on the next game, but not Yoku's Island Express.
Have you finished it?
No, I'm stuck. But I'm definitely gonna give it a go. If I can't get past it, I'll see if I can look up a walkthrough and then go blind for the rest of the game.
Alright.
Yeah, that definitely is something that I have on my radar too, just because I watched you play it and it looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, it's fantastic. I believe it came out in 2018, but, playing it in 2019.
Yeah.
And I ended up playing it on the Switch, but it's available on all major platforms.
Yeah, I do remember hearing about it, and I had heard good things, but it was just like, I have so many things.
Not only that, you don't know anyone who's ever played that game.
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily stop me, but yeah.
For some people like me, it does, because I'm a little wary where I'm like, oh, if no one else has touched it, then I don't know if I want to play it as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go to my number 3 pick, which is Super Mario Maker 2. So I had mostly missed out on the first game because, I didn't really get a Wii U.
Like most people.
At all.
Yeah.
Like most people. But I really loved the concept. It was probably like the one game besides Smash at the time, or like maybe Bayonetta, that I wanted the system for. But playing the second one and just looking at the trailers for all the new content and features they've added to it, like the concept in itself is so much fun to just make your own levels, more so than I thought I would have with it, because 2D platforming is like one of my favorite genres ever, and like being able to share your levels with all of your friends and everything is a real treat. Like in my Discord server, we had a bot with a Google Sheet where they would upload a code, and the bot would alert everyone and says, hey, somebody made a new course to try out. And it was a good way to kind of connect with friends and try everyone's levels and critique everyone's level design and everything. It was just like a really good experience to, like, not just for me playing the single player handheld mode, but also to like experience it with a bunch of other people and learning tricks with building levels and having fun doing crazy platforming stuff. It was just a good fun time.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best ideas we had, was to like do that, because it really made it easy to like play with everybody instead of just like, oh, I'll remember that later, and then we all know when you say that you don't remember it later.
Hey bro, here's my 16-digit like course code.
Yeah. Well, they did drop it to 12 for this game, which was good.
True.
But yeah, I did play the first one and I loved it. Like, it was really good in the first one, but the second one definitely improved on it in so many ways. You can make, like, I had so many ideas in the first one that I just couldn't really do because they didn't have the capability. And then this one, pretty much anything I thought up I could do. So I really liked that.
A couple things I want to add on top of it is I'm always a really competitive person, so whenever I see that a certain percentage of people have beat this level, I always want to be within that certain...
Get the world record.
Yeah, that's always kind of like... That's kind of a misleading number, though, because it's like... The number for percent cleared is lives cleared, because it's cleared attempts over the number of attempts, which if you die, it's a new attempt. So it's not necessarily the percentage of people who have beaten the level.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let me bask in my glory. Thank you very much.
Let him be in the top 1% of gamers.
I'm an elite gamer. Thank you very much.
I really did like that too. Like, I definitely liked going back and trying to beat world records. If I was like so close, I'm like, no, I could beat that.
The other thing I'm also a big fan of is like all the meme messages that you see while playing a level. It brings me back to the Splatoon days, where you just see like a bunch of memes while playing the game, and it shows you how much fun the Nintendo community can be at times.
Yep.
The only thing I really miss is amiibo costumes.
True.
Yeah.
But...
I really wish they would bring that back, but the Link mode, like the new mode, where you can play as Link,
sick.
It's so cool, and I'm like, are you really gonna make Zelda Maker
It
now?
leaves the door open for them to like introduce other characters too, like add like Samus.
You could do a Mega Man mode.
That. The game itself,
they don't Mega Man.
No.
The game itself already has so many different ways to play. Like if you're more of like a speedrun type person, like really difficult, just hold right type things. There's like the music stages. There's like all the levels that are based on like solving puzzles and stuff.
That was the thing that they did a lot better this time is tags, because like you could tag your level, and for the most part, people were actually like consistently correct. So it's like some people tagged it as a speed run. I'm like, this is not a speed run. but
the way that there's like so many different ways to play the game because it's predominantly user created is what makes it such a unique and just wild game to me. That's like, it's just so speechless to me at times. Like some of the things that people make in this thing, it's just wow.
Yeah,
I want more.
I think they're probably planning on continuing to update it. So I'm interested to see where they go from here. But again, make Zelda Maker.
I want Zelda Maker.
Like, you're teasing it so much now.
I want Metroid Maker. I want Rad Racer Maker. Just make all the makers.
Yeah. I want Super Mario Maker.
There was, like, a Mega Man Maker on Xbox Live Arcade.
That, yeah.
It wasn't called Mega Man, but it was Mega Man. So I was like, you already did that. Like, do that, but actually Mega Man this time, except Capcom will have to do it.
Speaking about things we want Nintendo to make, do you remember the Super Mario Bros., the Battle Royale?
Yes! Oh, that was so cool!
Yeah, if Nintendo can actually make that like an officially sanctioned thing.
Yeah. The one grievance I had with this game was the 4-player, like, race, co-op, whatever, didn't work unless you were local. Because I remember we tried to do that a couple times, and it just did not work. It's way too laggy.
Yikes.
Fix online before you make us pay for it, please.
Speaking about fixing online, I'm going to bring it up later today.
Okay.
Cool, alright.
I guess we'll move on to my number 2 then. My number 2, I actually expected to be my number 1 this year. Like, you asked me at the end of last year, I would have told you this was going to be my number 1, but it's my number 2, Kingdom Hearts 3. So, I'm a huge fan of this series. I've played every single game in the series multiple times, and was really excited for Kingdom Hearts 3. And it was good. I really did enjoy my time with it. Hence why it's number 2. It's not bad. But there's just something that felt missing from it for me that stopped it from being number 1.
I think it felt dated because of how long there was between Kingdom Hearts 2 and 3.
That didn't bother me because I played all the other games. But it was just... I had such high expectations that I don't think could have possibly been met.
I'm sure everyone did. I really did enjoy the game. I got it at launch, as did everyone else. But I don't really have super solid thoughts on how I feel about it, because I had a very similar sentiment of just something felt missing, for lack of a better term.
I think, honestly, it was like... Because I've played... 2 Final Mix is my favorite game in the series, and one of my favorite games of all time, because of the data fights. The extra things you can do in that were so much fun, and I think that's what's missing, but as of recording, Remind still hasn't come out, so I'm going to reevaluate once it has, and maybe my opinion will have changed, because that really was my big thing, is once I finished, I was like, I really don't have that much to do. I did all the battle gates, and then I was done, and I'm like, well, I don't have, like, a billion bosses.
Time to put it back on the shelf.
Yeah.
Put it back on the shelf until Kingdom Hearts 3 Final Mix comes out.
Which is basically Remind.
Over 2 days.
Yeah. I'm excited for Remind. I'm gonna see how I feel after that, but it still was my number 2. I definitely loved it, and I am still excited to see where the series goes from here, which, knowing Nomura, it's gonna get even crazier.
And yeah, the story, of course, is, for me at least, has been kind of wavering a bit in recent years with Kingdom Hearts.
If you don't like the story, I do not blame you. It's so convoluted.
It's, like, jokes aside, I think the tipping point was really a couple of games ago with Dream Drop Distance for me, in terms of its story just being like, okay, Nomura, like...
I'll entirely agree with that.
But, I mean, this game in general, like, I loved the Pixar worlds were great and cute. I loved, quote-unquote, Little Chef, a.k.a. Ratatouille, a.k.a. Remy.
Yeah.
Don't really know why they decided to do that, but cool.
I mean,
Little
it's a
Chef.
minigame.
I mean, it was cute, though. Like, it has a lot of fun charm, and I think a lot of the Pixar worlds they included were great. It's more so the Disney worlds that I felt kind of like, whatever, because Frozen was just like the movie.
Frozen
and Tangled was like
I actually did enjoy Tangled a lot. Like, the atmosphere is great, and I thought the gameplay was really fun.
It looked gorgeous too.
Frozen, though, MatPat, I honestly think nailed it on the head. Like, it felt like it was supposed to be something else, and after I watched that game theory video, I literally was like, that actually makes, like, so much sense.
I didn't play the game, but I'd also heard a lot of people complain about a lack of Final Fantasy in the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Remind looks like they're going to be having Final Fantasy characters in it.
Nomura said that he didn't want Final Fantasy to carry the series anymore, and I'm like, dude, it literally is a Final Fantasy Disney crossover. We still want Final Fantasy.
Would you say Final Fantasy ever carried the series? Because, like, I love, like, the Cloud and Sephiroth stuff in 2 and, like, the Olympic Coliseum fights and stuff, but I don't know. I don't really... I get his opinion on that, I guess, because he wants to make it its own thing, but, like...
His reasoning was weird to me, but he added them in Remind, so he clearly heard us.
Well, didn't Dream Drop Distance have the World Ends With You kids in it?
Yeah.
Like, why don't they just add other Square properties if they don't want to be focused so much on Final Fantasy? I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
It's no more, don't question him.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Yeah.
I think World Ends With You is also a Nomura project.
It is.
Yeah.
Spiky hairs, check.
Belt buckles, check.
Alright, my number 2, it's actually a little weird that I was not expecting this to be my number 2, but it's actually Realm Royale. So I wanted to find a Battle Royale game to play with my little brother, who's 13, and as you know, all 13-year-olds love to play Fortnite. Yeah. But I'm like, I hate the building. I hate the building aspect of Fortnite. So I wanted to find another Battle Royale that I could play with him, but without the building. And instead of going to something like Apex Legends, I decided to try out Realm Royale because it has a similar aesthetic. I know the developers because they had previously worked on Paladins and Smite. And giving it a go, I'm like, oh, it's not that bad. But over time, I ended up growing to really like the game and ended up playing like half an hour every night.
Now, clarify it for me because I don't really do free-to-play anymore, but Realm Royale is not the Monster Hunter clone, right?
It is not. You're thinking of Dauntless.
Gauntlet, thank you. Dauntless. Yes, Gauntlet. Dauntless.
Man, yeah. I love Gauntlet.
That's how little I pay attention to the free-to-play games. But that's good that you found something.
Yeah. It still follows a lot of the tropes where you just jump out of a bus, or in this case, a ship, and then you just find your weapons and whatnot. But one difference from Fortnite that I like about Realm Royale is that you don't have to worry about collecting ammo, so every gun has unlimited ammo.
I actually kind of like that, like, in more casual ones. Like, I play PUBG a little bit, and you definitely have to be able to collect ammo in that, because running out of ammo is one of the things that kills you in that game.
What makes me upset, like, in games like that, you'll get ammo for, like, one type of gun, but you'll have another type of gun.
Yeah, it's actually not as hard to manage as you think. You will get rounds where you'll get, like, beat down, but unlimited ammo, especially in, like, a free-to-play game, it definitely will make it more fun.
Now, with the lack of building as in this game and like things like unlimited ammo, does it make the game like too easy at all? Is there still like a good challenge there?
I still feel like there's a good challenge, and it comes down to like the other things you can collect with, so like these abilities. So you have like an offensive, defensive, and like a neutral ability. So you can get anything from like invisibility, smoke, or like you can jump a far distance. You can set up where you can throw potions to heal yourself or teammates.
Okay.
But there's different things, and then there's obviously with like the ranking of the weapons. Not only that, if there's a weapon or ability you don't want, what you can do is turn it into these little gems and use these gems at forgeries. There's a limited amount of forgeries, usually one per town, and you can trade those for extra ammo, trade out for a chance of getting a better weapon and whatnot.
Okay.
I think I've seen that actually. I like the random mechanics of that. It reminds me of how in COD Zombies, where you get you can either buy a gun specifically or you can spend X amount and open the mystery box and you'll either get a pea shooter or you'll get a laser gun.
Yeah, lastly, whenever you die, you actually don't get eliminated right away. You turn into a little chicken and you have 15 seconds. If you can stay alive, you'll respawn with half your health.
Oh my god, that's funny.
That's
It's
kind
so
of
good.
amazing. I kind of love that.
But yeah, I definitely have had a lot of fun with that game, and definitely, I mean, there isn't as many people playing it. Obviously, that's like Fortnite or or PUBG, like the other big Realm Royale games. But it's
I'm pretty sure Fortnite had literally the most consecutive players ever this year.
Yeah,
For
but
any game.
ultimately, it's the game that clicks with me.
Yeah.
And I definitely enjoy it.
And you can never turn up your
Yeah,
nose
it's
up.
free. I
it's
didn't
free.
put any money down towards it, and I still haven't.
I assume it has the equivalent of V-Bucks or whatever.
It has the equivalent of V-Bucks and the
Yeah.
equivalent of Battle Pass.
Chicken bucks.
Chicken bucks.
Bucks. Is that what it's called?
You can actually get skins for your chicken, so you can have one look
That's
like
You
amazing.
get a skin for you when you're only there for
Yeah.
15 seconds.
Did you get an Untitled Goose Game skin for your
I
chicken?
wish.
That would be amazing.
I'm working my way for a ninja, and then
Nice.
there's if you want to buy, there's one you can buy as a Rambo looking dude.
That's
See,
fun.
question about that though. You want the chicken to survive because if you can survive for 15 seconds, you respawn.
Yeah.
Are there any skins that make you more of an obvious target?
No.
Okay. Well, have fun then.
Yeah, it's definitely fun.
God. Alright, so my number 2 pick is also a game that didn't actually come out in 2019, but is one that is continuously getting updated ever since launch, and that is Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. So I first got into this game when it was shown at E3, I think 2014 or 15, some odd years ago, and the game is...
When it didn't remotely look like what
the
it
game
is now.
drastically different now, but the core, of course, mechanics and draw of this game is all about it being extremely tactical with your squad. So, of course, you have your operators that you have, and there's typical stuff like defusing a bomb, saving a hostage, controlling an area, whatever. But the whole gimmick is that you don't have to, but of course the main draw is that you have to be tactical with your team to successfully do these missions. So things like listening for footprints and noises of windows breaking is important. You have to give call outs to your teammates to find the enemy and everything. There's a whole camera system, so when you're not just running and hunting down people on a map, you can look at your observation tools. Every operator has different abilities they can use, so it makes everyone all unique and different on the attacker or the defender's side. And the game just constantly gets updates with adding more characters, more operators, more maps, more modes and everything. It's given me a lot of enjoyment because instead of your standard run and gun Call of Duty, just turn off your brain and just go ham, it's one of those games where you really have to think about your actions, which sounds like a chore at first, and it can seem a very daunting game because of all the information thrown at you at once, but it's so satisfying when you're just working with your other 4 teammates to just plant a bomb and don't fuse the hostage.
Yeah, I play this with Will, and it's a lot of fun. Someday I will learn the call-outs, maybe, but we're both I think I'm 90 hours into the game now, and I still am garbage.
It's one of those games where I'm 800 hours in and I still feel like I'm trash, but I think that's just me being mean on myself because I'll make stupid mistakes, because you always have someone who has ungodly aim or whatever.
Yeah. But my problem in the game is I can see people, but I jump and hesitate before I pull the trigger. I need to get into a mindset of oh, I see somebody, I'm going to shoot in that general direction and I'll probably hit them. Because that's probably what the other people do.
And this game, by the way, at launch was a complete broken mess.
Yeah.
Their game still has some very minor issues, but Ubisoft is that company to me has really changed my perspective of them because of all the love and time they've put into making this game an actual game.
Recently, they've been banning Clash every 3 months.
Well, it's because that operator just had a lot of problems. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But there's so much has changed in that game, and it's honestly if you look at the game from 2015 and you look at it now, it's 2 completely different games, and the community is really strong. You get a lot of jokes about people being toxic. My friends who play League say this game is more toxic than League of Legends, especially if you play ranked or something. But you don't even have to play ranked. it's just a huge amount of fun. And even if you don't play it, I encourage watching it, because even as an esport game, it's so satisfying to just watch people do insane callouts and just know exactly where to go and use all these gadgets with the operator so efficiently. It's great. It's really made Ubisoft like one of my favorite like publishers / developers at this point.
I will say, like, they did take this game and make it like entirely something else. I just think the funniest thing about the game is, like, with the toxicity, they have actively tried to combat it. But one of the funniest things they did is they had, like, a word filter in chat that if you said it, like, twice, you would get kicked. And one of the words was the Spanish word for black, and which is a slur in English. But, like, so many, like, Spanish-speaking people were getting kicked from the game for saying the word black.
It's, like, I definitely understand why they did that.
But it was just kind of funny.
Yeah, I think it was an oversight on how to implement it, because one of the operators has a gadget called a black eye, which is another camera. It's like a little, we call it a blueberry, basically.
Yeah.
So people are like, oh, like one of Valk's black eyes is on the wall, but if you type that out too many times, which is very, like...
It's funny.
Very, very specific example, but as jokes aside with that kind of small blunder... They've still done a lot for going against, like, people who have been, like, boosting or cheating, and there's a bunch of report options for toxic people anyway. So it does get sometimes a bad rap for its community, but at the end of the day, if you have a squad, like, of, like, even not even a full squad, just, like, 2-3 people to play with, it's just a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
constantly go back to it ever since I got it.
Yeah, we play, like, once a week.
At least. And that's when Ryan's there. When it's me, it's, it's a lot more.
Well, I play once a week because I'm busy, but, yeah. So anyways, before we get to our number one game of the year, I want to mention a couple honorable mentions. I have two that I want to talk about. I want to talk about Katana Zero first. It's kind of Hotline Miami, but 2D side-scrolling. It's one of those like rage games where you're going to die a lot, but every time you die, you just rewind, try again. And it was one of the most fun games I played this year. Like, it made my top 10 easily, but... I loved it, and I found out that there were, like, secret endings to it, so I, like, went and tried to play those, and when I got them, I was like, oh my god, this is so much fun. And I burned through that game so quickly, and I was like, give me more. Give me a sequel, like, now. And the other one I want to talk about is Plague Tale Innocence. I found out about this one at the TGAs, and I barely squeezed it into 2019. I think I finished it, like, really, really close to New Year's. But... it has a really, really good narrative. It deserves all the accolades it gets, and I really would recommend you play it. I don't want to say much more because it would spoil it.
My two honorable mentions would be Apex Legends. I know, yet another Battle Royale, but
it was good.
It was very good. It was done by Respawn, who also made the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and then they also did Titanfall 2.
Which I played this year and really liked.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun. And then the other one was Astrobot, which is a 3D platform game on the PlayStation VR, and it's probably one of the best uses of VR I've ever seen, especially for a platformer, which is in a genre that isn't commonly represented in VR, but definitely has been one of the highlights of owning the VR headset.
I really want that game to come to PC.
Yeah, but it'll never will, because it's developed in-house by Sony.
Yeah, never say never, but maybe.
Most likely not.
Yeah.
My two honorable mentions, real briefly. First is Luigi's Mansion 3. So probably the main reason this is an honorable mention is just because I haven't really finished it yet. I'm like maybe 5 hours into the game right now, and I love Luigi's Mansion. Dark Moon I had some issues with, but so far, at the very least, Luigi's Mansion 3 fixes a lot of the issues I had with Dark Moon. Most notably, like, just getting kind of crowd controlled by ghosts, like, in very tight corners was kind of annoying. But this game looks gorgeous, it's fun, it doesn't really match the spooky atmosphere of uneasiness that the first game had, so I don't think I'd ultimately like it as much as the first one, unless maybe I'm just completely wrong, and after you hit the 10-hour mark, it just completely changes.
Honestly, it kind of does.
Oh, no!
It does get really good after you get, like, halfway.
But I'm still
Luigi
enjoying
dies.
it. No! Not Luigi! But I'm still really enjoying it. I'm going to keep playing it. Maybe I'll be on my next, like, top games of 2020 I played. Who knows? Yeah. And then the second game I want to mention is Outer Worlds. So, of course, we have... Why am I blanking on the developer right now? who made Outer Worlds.
Obsidian,
thank you.
yeah.
Jeez, I'm awful. But Obsidian, they make fantastic games, of course. Like, one of my favorite games of all time, Fallout New Vegas. They were the main devs on. It's a lot of previous devs from, like, Fallout 1 and 2, and I think, like, Neverwinter Nights, and Divinity. Don't they do Divinity Sin as well?
I don't think so.
I don't think they do that.
Didn't they publish that or something?
Maybe.
I have terrible memory. But anyway...
I'm not up to date on who publishes what for everything.
Anyway, Obsidian makes a lot of great games, and they got, like, their dream team to make this game that's, like, very clearly the spiritual successor to Fallout New Vegas, since Bethesda's probably never going to release their vice grip on that series at this point. But it's fun. It's great. A lot of it, when I played, didn't grip with me at first. I think I need to give it a second chance, but I still really enjoyed what it was doing, because it just felt like a more modern take on, like, the New Vegas and Fallout formula. Of course, with a different story. It's all space-themed and everything. But you still have your quests, your zany characters, your different endings and everything. I hear it's really short. I haven't beat it yet, but I still enjoy it.
It's replayable. You can take different paths to get to the end, and there's multiple ends.
I'm sure. That's a very Obsidian thing to do.
Exactly.
So.
I kind of... one person mentioned that to me, and they were like, I kind of wonder if this is what the... I don't remember what the name of it is, but it's the Bethesda space game that's coming out.
Starbound?
Starbound, yeah.
Something like that?
No, Starbound's a
No, that's a Terraria game.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but this is a space game they're making.
But I kind of wonder if it's going to be similar to that, because it did feel like a very Bethesda game. But the one thing I want to mention also is you mentioned Luigi dies, and it reminded me of that Smash trailer that introduced the Belmonts. I really want them to do a DLC where you hunt down, like, Castlevania ghosts. Like, have Luigi hunt down Lord Death.
Oh, the Simon Smash trailer?
Yeah, that was so good.
funny.
That was one of my absolute favorites.
Alright, as soon as we're wrapping up with Outer Worlds, I just want to mention that I'm looking forward to the Switch port that's supposedly coming out early this year.
Yeah, probably March, April.
Probably March, April.
Really briefly, I want to bring up, Obsidian actually did Pillars of Eternity, so that's what I was thinking of when I said Divinity. Very similar.
Okay, so now we're going to move on to the big ones, the games of the year. Now, I'm going to start with mine, and Will and Edwin are going to groan.
Oh, well, see you guys. It was a good one.
So, my game of the year is Fire Emblem Three Houses. These guys make fun of me all the time for loving Fire Emblem, and yes, I am super excited that Byleth is in Smash. Fight me. But, no, seriously, as a Fire Emblem fan, it was such a great game.
Calm down, Sakurai.
Okay. I didn't like Fates very much. I thought it was kind of boring, in all honesty. So when this one was coming out, it had really big shoes to fill, because I was like, the last one was bad. If this one's bad, Fire Emblem might be dead. So it's not dead anymore, though. It sold very well, and the game's incredible. And you have 4 different paths. You have 3 different houses. You have, 40-some units that you can recruit, and each of them has really good characters, some better than others, but that's always the case. But I played every single route of this, and I sunk something like 150 hours into the game.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while. It's, you have to go through 4
routes.
routes.
It's an RPG.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
But I loved every second of it. It was so much fun. And just every route, I've never actually played, a branching paths game that did different routes so well and so differently that it actually invokes different emotions with each route. Like, there are characters in one route that I love in their route and then absolutely despise them in the other route. And it's written so well, and it was just easily a game of the year for me, and I cannot wait for the story DLC that's coming later this year.
I know you're really hyped about that game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, do you know they're gonna make a DLC for it?
Yeah, I just said that.
Okay, just double checking.
Yeah, I already have it pre-ordered. I've gotten the pack so far, but
that's probably why he was added into Smash.
Maybe, but it hasn't been anything major so far. It's just been a couple cosmetic things and a few gifts here or there. The story DLC is what I really bought it for.
I think Nintendo wants Fire Emblem to be one of their big pillar titles alongside Mario and Zelda.
It's getting there.
It's getting there.
I mean, we have Super Smash Bros. Fire Emblem, Ultimate.
Oh, boy.
Alright, my favorite game of 2019 alongside Will's is Super Smash Bros. Fire Emblem Edition.
You see, stole my number 1 game. But it is also my number 1 game.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about it first, because we have very different backgrounds in Smash already.
My background is because I play a lot of Melee.
I'm going to have to interject real quick. didn't that game come out in 2018?
Yeah, but didn't Shinobi 3 come out in like 1994 or whatever?
Yeah. But
our games of 2019.
yeah.
I mean, I dabbled with it like the first month, but I didn't actually put into any real considerable time until 2019.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't play Smash for the story, so like the World of Light and all that is above me. But in terms of like competitiveness, I think the game's like it's a decent mix between Smash 4 and like Melee, where it's faster paced than Smash 4, but it's like accessible enough for newcomers to come in and jump in. And then main reason that I really like the game is that a lot of the DLC characters have been really fun that's been released for it.
Yeah.
Like Joker and Piranha Plant. I've had a lot of fun with both of those, for example.
Yeah.
Do you think now that, like, I know for pretty much every other Smash game, except for Brawl because people just love to hate that game. I love Brawl. But like Melee and 64 specifically, there's still a huge competitive scene for that.
Yeah.
Do you think with Ultimate existing now, that 4's competitive scene is just going to like vanish?
It's already been vanished since the date. Smash 4 was already dying before Ultimate came out, and keep in mind that it was on the Wii U, which is Nintendo's least popular system. So
yeah,
I think last time I checked on Twitch, there was like 2 people streaming it with a combined combined 5 viewers, and I think one of them had accidentally streamed Smash Ultimate in Smash 4's spot.
Sad.
So, is there, like, any reason... Like, I know why Melee and 64 are still popular, because they feel vastly different. Is there any reason to go back to 4 at this point?
If you like Cloud and Bayonetta to be really good.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, to me, this game just felt like a straight-up improvement from Smash 4. Now, I don't have a lot of the competitive background for Smash. I'm a very casual Smash player. I play characters just because I like them or I think they're cute, like Pikachu. So that's kind of my Smash experience. I think it's just the best Smash game for what you get, especially from like a casual side. You get so much single player content as well as all the multiplayer stuff. Not to mention the big roster and the continuous expansion with DLC characters and stages. And like you get a new character and it's like that atmosphere is so much hype around who's going to be in Smash, because a lot of the characters, not including Fire Emblem, a lot of the characters are there to kind of show as like a testament of like video games as a whole. Like you get really big industry icons and everything. Like people groan about Terry sometimes, but like SNK, it's like a huge part of gaming. That
no, Terry was awesome. Like, I don't care about SNK, but that's just because I don't care about fighting games. But I saw when I saw Terry, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, like a lot of people in America like are kind of whatever, kind of like how when Dragon Quest with Hero got announced, and people here were like, huh, whatever, and then Banjo got announced, and people in Japan were like, huh, whatever.
Minds.
Yeah.
God, like, I don't think anything will... Either Joker or Banjo, those two were just so hype.
My favorite, and this isn't even an Ultimate thing, but like Cloud's reveal for me was like the most hype thing I've ever seen in my life, because I was like begging for like people like, oh, I want Goku in Smash. Mine was like, I want Cloud in Smash, and I'd be like, shut up, Will, you're an idiot. Who's the idiot now? Cloud's in Smash.
I never thought it would happen.
Nerfed.
I mean, he needed to be.
But even just aside with all the characters and like the representing video game history as a whole, like
you could literally do an 8-player Smash with like 8 different characters who aren't even from
the same
made
franchise,
by Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like exactly,
it's incredible.
Like, say what you want. Like I think Smash is a great party-esque game. It's still a fighting game. I still think it's a fighting game.
It's a party game.
But it's like it's we'll talk about that later. But like Smash is like a great game for parties anyway. It's like the ultimate casual experience because like everyone recognizes characters in that game. The World of Light I like a lot. The Spirit Board is so hecking cocool because you get like
the Spirit Board.
It's like, oh, here's like what it would be like to fight like all these random characters that aren't in the game. You'll get like a Shine sprite from Mario Sunshine, and it's like
some of them are really clever, by the way.
Yeah, and you'll get like
you'll see things you'll never see before, like Captain Rainbow.
Yeah, like Captain Rainbow, and you get stuff like. I can't think of any good examples. It'll be like...
One of the funniest ones was that girl from Metal Gear Solid 5. I can't remember.
Quiet?
No, not Quiet.
I didn't play Metal Gear Solid
Paz. The thing about her is she... spoilers for Metal Gear Solid 5. She blows up in, like, Ground Zeroes. And... her thing is, she starts with a bomb-bomb. So it's Princess Peach with a bomb-bomb, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
You get really creative stuff like that. Like, I know, speaking of Metal Gear, there's a Metal Gear fight, and it's just like a big, giant
Rob.
Yeah.
The big metal Rob.
And, like, you fight, like, the champions from Zelda, and you get, like,
Yeah.
I almost called him Ravioli. What's the name
Rivali.
of it? Yeah, Rivali, whatever. And he's, like, a Falco and
Yeah,
everything, which
yeah.
are the same character anyway.
I mean...
But that, like, uniqueness, so they add, like, even with the spirits and, like, assist trophies and Mii costumes, is, like, Sakurai, already a youthful man, is putting so much work and dedication into this game that, like, jokes aside, this is the ultimate Smash experience. I don't think... I know he's like, oh, I'm done with
characters
Smash.
was, like, what, 65?
60... Inkling was 64.
64, okay.
So I guess... I don't know how echoes work, but anyway.
I think they count, technically. What was the final number? It was some, like... I think it was, like, in the 70s, maybe?
I don't know.
Whatever. But
either way,
yeah.
adding 11 characters on top of that already huge base, I don't think, even if they came out with another Smash game again... He said in the first Direct... For it, he was like, "We're never gonna do this."
Yeah,
again.
that's what I figured. Because like Smash is
Yeah.
so big, so like it's so amazing to imagine like one of Nintendo's biggest properties. Are just like, we're not gonna make another one. If they ever,
Well, he
do,
didn't say that. He
like,
said we're not adding every character again, and I was like, I don't expect you
so-
to, but this is hype.
because this like. I'm going to be playing Smash Ultimate for, like... It's going to be my go-to Smash game for years and years to come.
Yeah.
And, like, even when they think about making a new one, like, I'm so excited, but also, like, really anxious to see, like, how would they even attempt to make a new Smash game? Would they, like, really scale it down, make it really focused? Like, more of a fighting-type game? I don't know, because it's such a huge franchise for them already.
Well, we're not going to get one for a while
True.
at this point.
They got a lot of time to
It's
figure that
one
out.
per system.
Yeah, it's one per system. So, like, we're not going to get one for till whatever next system comes out in however
Switch
many
2.
years. Yeah,
Switch
Switch 2,
2.
Electric Boogaloo.
You heard it here, folks.
But, they'll probably trim the fat. Like, they'll take out the characters that they... Because they have statistics now is the thing.
Take out the echoes.
Like, maybe.
Take out the Fire Emblem.
No. They'll take out a lot of the Fire Emblem.
That's a lot of the fat.
But, like, take out Corrin. I'll have no beef about that. But, they have online statistics now with Nintendo Online of who plays what and how often this character gets played.
Who's the least played character?
Exactly.
Is it
so they
Corrin?
could, I mean, I don't know.
Oh.
But they could literally do that. They
Violet.
could literally look at statistics and say, like, these characters get used, like, so infrequently, no one will miss them.
Nobody's playing Mario. Let's just cut Mario from the game.
That's not true, first of all. But, they'll never do that.
Yeah.
Like, the Nintendo characters, like the Mario characters, they're not
they're
going
never
anywhere.
going anywhere.
But they could they'll probably trim, like, they'll definitely trim some of the Fire Emblem characters. They might take away one of the Castlevania characters, probably, like, some of the newer ones who just didn't really get used.
Yeah, like Corrin.
Yeah.
Let's really briefly, just rapid fire character you think's gonna be in the DLC pack. I'll go first. Professor Layton.
I have to rethink it now because I
Rapid fire, Ryan. Let's
Okay,
go.
come to me last.
Crash.
The goose.
All right. Come back to us when we get it right.
Yeah. I thought that Byleth was going to be in DLC too, so, like, I had no idea what to expect for this one.
Get that out of the way now. So
yeah.
Anyway.
But anyways, so it's been a great decade, and it was pretty good year for 2019, honestly. What do you think's coming in 2020, or just, like, forward in general?
Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Animal Crossing's coming soon.
I'm glad. I'm actually okay that Final Fantasy VII got delayed. We got a lot of games that got announced.
Cyberpunk got delayed.
Recently.
Avengers got delayed.
Iron Man VR. I know Edwin was excited for.
Yeah.
I'm still upset about that.
I mean, I used to get upset over game delays, but I'm like, taking a note from Ryan, I got so much of a backlog
how many
already.
big title VR games come out?
I mean, for a VR perspective,
Yeah.
sure, I'll agree with you there.
Like, when I saw Final Fantasy VII got delayed, I was upset about it for, like, a second, and then I thought about it, and I was like, you know...
I breathed a sigh of relief because I get more time to play Animal Crossing New
Yeah.
Horizons on my Nintendo Switch.
That's exactly what it was. Is like, because Cyberpunk was coming, like, really soon after that, and then that's in September now, so I'm like, I actually am, like, not even upset because I don't have to, like, put this game on my shelf now. I can actually play it at launch, appreciate the launch and, like, the community at launch, and actually put in the time that I want to put into them, not, oh, I have to stop Animal Crossing now because Final Fantasy's out, and, like, God knows that game's going to take a while, and then I'm one of the few people, apparently, who actually is looking forward to Avengers. Like, I think it's going to be fun, which is apparently an unpopular opinion.
Well, it's developed by Crystal Dynamics, and they've done a lot of great work, like the Tomb Raider games.
Yeah, that's why I'm excited. I think it's going to be great.
Did they do the new Tomb Raider
Yes.
ones? I
Yeah,
haven't
they
played
did.
them
They
all,
did
so no.
the new trilogy.
Yep.
But
Okay.
I'm looking forward to Metroid Prime 4. I really hope we get
yeah.
news for that at E3 this year. Like, I won't be surprised if we don't, but I really hope we do. And I'm looking forward to whenever Toby Fox decides to release Deltarune.
Yep.
And the one game that nobody's going to expect me to say is I'm really looking forward to Monster Sanctuary getting its official not early access release.
Woo!
Yeah, this is the first game that I kickstarted, and I kickstarted it about 2 years ago, and it finally came out in early access this year, and I played through it how it is right now, and it's early access, so take that with a grain of salt. It's good. It can be great. They just have to put the work in. But given how much updates this team has given us so far, like, I definitely see the love that they're putting into it. And I played it from its original demo form, and it's already vastly improved from there.
Yeah, they got enough time to work with.
Yeah. Anybody else, anything?
I think that's it.
I mean, yeah, mostly just like things that we already know are coming. I'm always down for more Metroid. If those rumors are true
Oh,
about
God, I hope so.
the rumors of Metroid 5, and what was the other thing? What was
Classic
what was
Paper
it?
Mario.
Classic Paper Mario.
Key on the classic.
Please.
It's not gonna happen. You're asking for too much.
I mean, it's
Honestly,
a rumor, so I'm already
I've kind
not
of,
believing
like,
it.
Giving up.
Yeah. So, like, if it happens, I'll be over the wall happy, but if not, I'll be like, well, I didn't really
Can't wait for Sticker Star 2.
God.
Oh no.
Ugh,
Mario and
just-
Luigi died, so Paper Mario could come back.
Yeah, I'm upset about
I
that,
like
but
Mario
I'm
and
not
Luigi,
really
thank you
surprised.
very much.
Well, I'm glad it
I
died
love
if
them.
it means Paper Mario gets to come back.
If Paper Mario goes down, Mario and Luigi's gonna take it down with
No.
it.
I mean, let's be honest here,
It
Mario and Luigi
it
hasn't
happened
been
with
great
Paper
lately
Jam.
either. Yeah.
No. The signs were there the whole time.
Yeah, they were. But I think that about wraps this up. We all had a great 2019, and 2019 was especially great for us because we started this channel.
Yeah.
And we learned a lot. If you've been watching us since the beginning.
It was a learning year, more than
if you've watched
anything.
us since the beginning, you can definitely see we've learned a lot, and we're continuing to learn. And we took a bit of a break at the end of 2019, and we think it's going to be for the better because we're really looking forward to putting out, like, just a lot better content and a lot more content in 2020.
2019 we walked, so in 2020 we could run.
That's the.
I'm just going to end the podcast right there. No, the sit down.
The sit down. Thanks for sitting down with us.